Ever since Jaws released back in 1975, shark movies have been everywhere, being used as a quick, easy way to make a low-budget film. And there's a trend with all of these movies. They're all terrible. It's basically universally agreed on that the only great shark movie is the original Jaws. The rest, absolute crap. But there are a few that stick out from the crowd. Still terrible films, but films that are so bad that they're good. Over the last week, I've watched 3 shark movies that I believed looked the most ridiculous, and stuck out the most to me with their poster and trailers. Today, I'll be reviewing these films and coming to a decision on whether or not a bad shark movie is funny enough to warrant its own existence. So, we've got Land Shark, a film, well, you've guessed it, about a shark on land. Two-Headed Shark Attack, a film that very nearly caused my own demise. And House Shark, because, well, bloody hell, just look at that poster. How the hell could I not watch that? Also, I will be completely spoiling all 3 of these movies. Not that I think you really care about spoilers for a movie called f***ing House Shark. Anyway, time to get into our first terrible shark movie. Please God, save me. So, first up on our list is Land Shark. If I wasn't sold by the poster, then I was definitely sold when I stumbled across this screenshot from the movie. My God. Land Shark is the first film I watched for this video, and to be honest, it was a perfect introduction into this absolutely bizarro world of low-budget edited shark movies. If you're looking for an actual film, then you will be left thoroughly disappointed. But to be fair, that's not really the point. Well, at least I hope that's not the point anyway. If Land Shark was genuinely made for the intent to be an actually good movie, then I think the people behind it are more delusional than, I don't know, Joy from Inside Out. Land Shark is filmed so strangely, almost like a vlog, and it just looks and feels ridiculous. No offense to David Lynch, because I absolutely love the guy, but it felt a lot like Inland Empire in parts. So, the film begins with a woman killed on a beach by a land shark. We get a hilarious POV shot from the shark with this fisheye lens. We then cut to a man complaining about the lack of fish before him and his mate are also eaten. Seeing a trend here? Then we arrive at the research facility, home to awful sound effects that you've probably heard before in a YouTube video. A TV looking straight out of The Amazing Bulk, and this shark tank. What the hell is that? We follow Lucinda, who notices sharks are leaving their tank and somehow returning, telling Dr. Foster, who believes he can use this for a super weapon or something? I don't really know. One of the escaped sharks eats a maintenance guy and travels to land, and stumbles across a couple taking photos, and it eats them, splattering what looks like sweet and sour sauce blood all over the place. And the shark returns home. Nice little trip there. Notice how we get to new people, they get eaten. He moves to the next people, they get eaten. Yeah, that's kind of the whole film. Lucinda and Foster stumble across the maintenance guy's body, and the two agree to clean up and dispose of the body because, I don't know, the shark is useful for research? I seriously have no idea why they did this. Later on, the shark is now going through the streets and kills 2 people in a pool, but they deserved it? Like, what the hell? Who talks like that?
I'm so glad we met on Tinder.
I know, I'm so happy that I didn't swipe left. Because I saw your tits.
Yeah!
The blood isn't even in the places they died. Lucinda and Foster are now on the hunt for the 3 escapee land sharks to kill them, even though moments prior they agreed to dispose of the body to keep the sharks from being found. Lucinda tracks one of the sharks for what feels like forever, and get this, they use laser blasters, their words not mine, to shoot the shark to death. Laser blasters. Oh, hey, we finally see what the shark looks like. It's horrible. And they set it on fire. One of the other sharks eats a girl at a train station. Yes, this is what I wanted from a film called Land Shark. So, does the land shark float or slide? How does it move? Like a snake? It doesn't have legs, so it must be slithering, but here it just looks like it's floating. Can these sharks fly? Am I reading too far into this? It is called Land Shark after all. I don't know why I'm trying to explain this movie. Later on, a guy accidentally pees on a land shark and gets eaten eaten, and the two track it down, and holy it's chasing them! Run! They manage to get the upper hand and chase down the shark with their laser blasters. Why laser blasters? Lucinda had the bright idea to, rather than shoot the shark, who is right in front of her, shoots an electricity pole, which then falls on the shark, electrocutes it, and then it explodes. Now, are you ready? Seriously, this is the twist of the century here. It is then revealed that the third shark was caught a while ago by some fishermen, meaning the signal they were following was actually leading to Dr. Foster! It turns out he has been experimenting with shark-human hybrids, and he is part shark. Oh my god! That explains everything. Kind of, but not at all. Lucinda runs away from what is clearly not Dr. Foster in a fish costume, and then he reveals that there are more experiments like him, and then he dies? I seriously don't have a clue what happened in this scene. He just dies. And then we see a massive shark coming out of the water ready to attack. Look at all of those terrified people. They look so scared at the massive shark. Anyway, then the film ends. Land Shark was an absolute mess of a film. I genuinely couldn't believe it. It was like it was written by an actual group of children. It started out terribly, but honestly, towards the middle of the film, it reached that crucial, so bad that it's good level, with some of these ridiculous scenes. Still an awful movie, of course, I'm definitely not denying that. Everyone, and I mean everyone, was so utterly dreadful at acting that I couldn't quite believe it. The story was all over the place and made no sense at all, but that rarely applies to all of these films, to be honest. I'm giving Land Shark a 2 out of 10. Yes, not a 1 out of 10, because it was still on another level compared to Twilight New Moon. Two-Headed Shark Attack is a film that exists. Actually, no. Calling this a film is just a straight-up lie. If you take anything away from this video, it should be that no matter how bad life gets, at least you're having more fun than I had watching this movie. It's horrendous. Guys, seriously, do not watch this. It is not worth your time in any way, shape, or form. If I would have known what I was getting myself into, I would have stopped right then and there. The film begins with two half-naked women, a staple of shark movies, surfing around for a video before both being eaten by a two-headed shark, and then everyone else gets eaten. Damn, what a hooking opener. Then we get immediate character overload on this yacht with like 25 people. Am I supposed to remember everyone's names or what? Actually, it doesn't really matter. Everyone's going to be dead by the end. They somehow hit a shark which gets stuck in the propeller. They stumble across an island that is thought to have people living on it. They all reach the island and begin to explore it as if it's a Mr. Beast video or Alvin and the Chipmunks Chipwrecked. So one of the girls goes below the boat to, I don't know, weld the thin air? Like, she's meant to be fixing the propellers, I guess, but she's actually nowhere near it. Then she gets ripped apart by the two-headed shark! Meanwhile, on the island, 3 of the people decide to go skinny dipping and, well, guess what? You know fine well that they got eaten. Let's go! Now that's what you call a two-headed shark attack. The rest of the group stumble across a shack with a gun and a boat which they attempt to drive. The shark swims and somehow sends an earthquake through the whole island, which causes one guy to pop his leg open, I think. He goes to the doctor with the help of 2 guys who then get mauled to death right in front of everyone. The island group managed to start up a couple boats, which I guess were just conveniently there. This whole scene is so confusing. One shot makes it look like the 2 boats are ages away from the island, and the next make it look like they're right next to it. It's just a mess of a scene. The 2 boats have a race, and one of the guys falls off and gets eaten in the middle of the ocean in one shot and right next to the shore in the next. Then, right after witnessing that, Ryan, who I've only just learnt the name of now, his name is actually Cole, by the way, I don't know why I said Ryan, jumps into the shark-infested waters to swim to shore. Smart guy. Except it actually was a smart move because he somehow survives and the other people on the boat get eaten by the two-headed shark, baby! God, this movie sucks. Everyone groups together on the island in what might just be the worst scene I have ever seen from any movie ever. Just listen to some of these lines.
Great! So we're screwed. There's nothing we can do? there's still one other means of communication at our disposal.
Well, what is it?
The Sea King is equipped with an emergency transponder that, when activated, sends out a traceable distress signal.
Then activate it! What the hell are you waiting for?
They come up with a plan to use magnetic fields to annoy the shark or something, because apparently the reason one boat got eaten was because it had a bigger magnetic field. Except, like, 4 of the people in this film were eaten in completely silent waters, so it doesn't really make any sense. I really don't think this shark gives a crap, just like me with this movie. Yay. Also, the island is sinking. Alright. They need to send off an emergency signal from the boat, but they can only do this if they sink it. Kinda seems really dumb. But any boat enthusiasts want to tell me if this is an actual thing, because surely this is bullcrap, right? A boat doesn't have to sink for you to be in danger, does it? 2 of the guys get to the yacht while the others annoy the shark. Notice how I still have no idea of anyone's name in this movie? That's why you don't have 25 characters. I have no idea what the hell is going on. Anyway, 2 more people get eaten. And please, can this film just end? It's the shortest of the films I've seen, and yet it feels like it's never going to bloody end. There's still 20 minutes left! Ryan drives the yacht away.
That idiot's gonna die.
There's a 2-headed shark attacking me!
He said it! He said it!
Watch out! Watch out! Watch out! Watch out!
The island begins collapsing, still no idea how. And these 2 absolute idiots decide to stand on a bridge, say, I think we're good, rather than run for land and get freaking eaten. Like, were they asking for it? And now there's a tsunami coming for them, and the 2 main characters are eaten. Well, at least I think they're the main characters. They're the main characters on Letterboxd, so... Anyway, the island is now completely underwater, and the remaining meals hide in a shed. A girl pulls out the gun from earlier, and it does nothing. Great setup, guys. They escape the shed and conveniently find a floating barrel of gas, and they explode the hell out of it in probably the most anticlimactic explosion I've ever seen. But there's still 1 head left. 1-headed shark attack. Oh no! Anyway, it explodes again and dies. The end. Words cannot describe just how truly awful 2-headed shark attack really was. I can't remember the last time I was this simultaneously bored and straight up insulted by something so insufferable. Nothing about this film is good. Not a single aspect. It isn't funny. It isn't so bad that it's good. It's an absolute mess. I get that it's made by the Asylum, who do take the piss with all of their films, but this was just ridiculous. Nothing about it was fun. It had so many characters to the point where if you put a gun to my head, I still couldn't name a single one. I don't even know who one of the 2 people who survived was. Did he only just appear? I have no idea. I never thought I would say this, but I take back everything I said about Landshark. I would take that any day of the week over this unapologetic nonsense. 2-headed shark attack. All my homies hate 2-headed shark attack. 1 out of 10. Rest in hell, you pack of shit. Jaws made you terrified to ever go in the sea again. House Shark made you terrified to take a shit. So, House Shark. This was the film I was by far most interested in and excited to watch out of the 3. I needed a funny film after Shark x2, and House Shark definitely delivered. So, this kid is being babysat while his dad Frank goes for a lovely date and mentions hearing things in the walls. The babysitter goes downstairs and gets stalked by the shark. She goes to the toilet and thinks she has... God, I can't say that on YouTube, surely. Anyway, the noise isn't what she thinks it is, and instead is the house shark. I can't exactly show any of this, but it's gross. And then after she's eaten, a freaking fin comes out the toilet. I know that's absolutely ridiculous, but having just watched the atrocious 2-headed shark attack, seeing actual practical effects was an absolute godsend. Frank becomes the most calm verbal abuser I've ever seen.
What the hell, kid? Can't you see I'm going through hell here?
Dad, relax. Take a chill pill.
Sorry, son.
And takes his poos outside now. Understandable. Frank's ex-girlfriend, Ladybird, comes round. Is that her actual name? Okay. Frank has the most hilarious mental breakdown captured on video.
No one understands. It's not safe in there. I want to demolish that house. I want to burn it to ashes. And then I want to burn those ashes. And then I want to put those ashes in a canister and shoot them towards the sun. Then I want to take a nuclear bomb and shoot it at the sun.
I get the point, Frank.
Also, the babysitter apparently died from what was explained as a freak plumbing accident. How can you say that is a plumbing accident? She was literally exploded all over the bathroom. Bro got blended. That's no plumbing accident, that's a bloody house shark. Frank looks into types of shark and finds a similar looking case involving a type of shark called a house shark. The house gets put up for sale against Frank's wishes. A couple are checking out the property when they are killed by the land shark. Now everyone knows of the house shark's existence. For some reason, whenever it switches to like another act of the film, there's this extremely weird Instagram post thing. It's so weird, but absolutely hilarious. Also, that is the fakest newspaper I've ever seen. Frank gets beaten up by a little kid who was adopted by the couple who got eaten. Then out of literally nowhere, a Native American uses the Force from Star Wars against Frank. What the hell? And them, along with the estate agent guy, set out to kill the house shark. Oh, never mind, he's dead. Frank then gets visited by Zachary, who is an expert on house sharks, who is just such an over-the-top character with his accent and facial expressions. It's so good. The two investigate around the house for a bit, discovering a tooth, before going to the pub together. They then meet Abraham, who has a personal interest in the house shark, and he wants it dead. Frank wants to overcome his fear of the house shark, and he makes up with Ladybird. Aw, how sweet. Frank, Abraham, and Zachary enter the house equipped with a gun, a crossbow, and a mini RPG thing? Abraham and Zachary somehow fall asleep, and they get jumped by the house shark. But for some reason, the shark doesn't kill them. And for some reason, they don't shoot it. They just kind of scream and point the gun in its face. They have a great idea to dress up as a female shark, but then they get attacked and shot at by the shark. The shark has a gun? What? But then Frank figures out through a photo he dropped that Zachary isn't who he says he is. And in fact, his accent is fake. Almost a better twist than Dr. Foster actually being a shark. He admits that the shark was created accidentally because he tried to turn himself into Spider-Man, but it failed and created a house shark instead. Never expected a sentence as strange as that to come out of my mouth, but here we are. They cage him up dressed as a lady shark and try to bait him. The shark comes out of nowhere and attacks them all. And finally, Frank shoots his gun. A random guy just kind of appears and Abraham shoves him into the mouth of the shark. Zachary gets kidnapped, but thanks to him posting on Instagram, they know he's alive. The shark attacks again, and this time a guy from earlier who was stuck in a closet jumps into the shark's mouth with a grenade, and it does literally nothing. Zachary blows something up in the basement which floods the house, and somehow Frank, with his unlimited underwater breathing skill, swims through the house to the basement. Wow, such realistic fish. He then has an underwater fight with Zachary. Love how you can see the string on the gun when it falls from his hand. The water then just drains out of the house for some reason. Frank and Abraham hide as furniture items from the house shark, and it falls asleep right in front of them until Frank drops a book and wakes it up. They then begin to train like a mantis because apparently that's the shark's biggest natural enemy. Abraham tries his newfound skills and fails, leaving Frank to shoot him because I guess he drank a lot, so then he exploded. Still less confusing than Jaws the Revenge though. They get teleported to a desert, but I guess it's meant to be that the explosion was that big that it turned everywhere to a desert. Oh, and Abraham is still alive as a head. And Zachary is giving birth to a shark, I think. I don't really care. The end. I actually didn't mind House Shark. It was extremely stupid, but in the way that it was so dumb that it was hilarious. At least you can tell what's actually happening in this one, and the camera work isn't even that bad, to be honest. It all adds up to an absolute masterpiece of a mess, and I absolutely loved it. Honestly, House Shark gets a 5 out of 10 from me. Reference, that means I rated House Shark higher than Matrix 4, Drive, and Rocky. No, I am not joking. Overall, checking these films out hasn't really meant anything. I haven't learnt a thing. I guess I know how to not make a movie now. None of these films should ever even be called films. House Shark at least clearly tried to be funny, and it definitely succeeded. The other two though, sweet Jesus. So, thanks for sticking around till the end. Since you watched this much, you must have enjoyed the video. And so, may I suggest pressing that subscribe button for more videos like this? I plan on covering all the Jaws movies, Lake Placid movies, and Sharknadoes maybe in the future. And you wouldn't want to miss that now, would you? Yay.